to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's
Today Around Kansas looks at Russell Springs, a town that overcame the loss of being Logan County Seat in 1963 and turned the courthouse into the Butterfield Trail Historical Museum in 1965. Next, join us in thanking Marci Penner for her Kansas Sampler Festival, and enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson. We'll end with a story about Kansas artist Jerry Thomas. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. Just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Hey, it's early Wednesday morning, so guess what? I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And it's been a wonderful February across the state and so much going on. And the spring is coming, folks.
Yeah.
You know, the groundhog didn't see his shadow. So, you know, I love the cartoon where the groundhog saw his shadow and somebody took a shotgun and blew him away. You know, it's like
Well, I like the one where it was a big German shepherd saw his shadow and I ate him.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But he brought us good tidings this year. So it looks like we're looking for an early spring, and there's so much happening. And of course, 1st of March, the Kansas Music Hall of Fame, you saw the segment that Frank did a week or two ago. So there's still time to get tickets for the Kansas Music Hall of Fame, March 5th at Liberty Hall. And so just go to the Liberty Hall box office online or give them a call and you can get tickets. It'll be a fantastic show.
Yeah,
so,
it will.
Yeah, it's just really going to be awesome. So what have you been up to, Frank?
Oh, you know, kind of the same old, same old. The radio station keeps me pretty busy.
It does.
Yeah.
We were talking when I was visiting with some folks out at High Plains Public Radio out in the western part of the state. And, you know, I've done my time as a DJ. I was not a real good DJ. I was better at the talk show thing, but as a DJ, I was kind of so-so. In fact, the guy who trained me like 100 years ago said I was the dumbest woman he'd ever met. But all that aside, we've done our time. You know, I was young, so I guess I was a little slow to catch on, but I guess that's why I'm not a DJ now, Frank, and you are. I wasn't smart enough to do that.
Well, but I have to tell a story on myself. I was in college and working at Ren Radio at night, and of course we had Cardinal baseball, and I had heard I don't know how many, you know, games all the time. I mean, we always had. Okay, so I'm reading the sports. And I'm talking about the St. Louis Cardinals, and I'm talking about their manager, Red Schoendienst. And I keep saying Red Schoendienst, and I get through, phone rings, and it's Max Falkenstein, who was the general manager. He said, "Who is the manager of the Cardinals?" I said, "Well, Red Schoendienst." And he said, "Why are you calling him Schoendienst?" So, you know, we all learn some way.
Isn't it? Well, the one that I had, and I don't know if I can even say it now, when I was news director of a radio station in Mount Airy, I would say interred, and my manager would say it's interred, or I'm not sure which it is, but I was not saying it correctly. And obits were a big deal. Remember when obits were?
Got to read the morning paper. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the obits aren't right, man, people call you, and so we. Yeah, he was always calling me about
Okay.
that stuff.
Well, anyway, we really do have some stories to tell you this morning, and so
it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, there's hope, folks. Spring is on the way, so stay with us.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life. And we're back. Now, as you know, I'm a native Kansan, and I'm supposed to know a lot about Kansas. This young lady is not from Kansas, but she knows about a place I've never been, and it's going to be her next story. So I'm going to let her kind of tell you about a place called Russell Springs. And for those of you watching in Russell Springs, I apologize.
Well, I don't know if they get our signal there, but the reception's not so great in Russell Springs, I don't think, so they won't be too offended.
Okay.
And that reminds me, because I do a lot of speaking, all over the country, somebody said one time, I wish you'd wear a sign when you leave the state that says, Kansans don't talk like this. You're right, I'm not a native Kansan, but I sure love it. And when I was out in the western part of the state, I got to go to Russell Springs the other day. I had been to I had actually been before. It had been 15 or 20 years, but it's on the old Butterfield stage route. So there is the Butterfield Trail Museum there, and I love it. I just love it. Tiny, tiny, tiny little town, but people working so hard to keep their history alive, and everybody volunteers, and they just, it's just wonderful. I love it, and it's overlooking the Smoky Hill Valley there, and it's just, I love it. So you're going to love seeing it too. The museum won't open again till May. She actually, Debbie Mather came in and opened it for us just so I could get some pictures and stuff, but it will be open again starting May and be open all summer. So, and then there's a nice little hotel, so I'm going to tell you all about it so you can all make plans to go to Russell Springs.
Yeah, and the Butterfield stage line is an interesting story all of its own. So, anyway.
It's a great story. Stay with us. On a rise above the Smoky Hill River sits the Logan County Courthouse, the centerpiece of Russell Springs. It used to be bustling when the business of government drew folks to the hamlet in droves. Russell Springs was the county seat for Logan County from its organization in 1887. Efforts to move the county seat to Oakley were defeated in 1937, 45, and 60, but in 1963, Russell Springs lost the election and the county offices were moved. It was thought that the building would be demolished, but a local historical association first met there in the fall of 1964, and the former Logan County Courthouse became the Butterfield Trail Historical Museum, opening in 1965. Some portions of the museum are just collections of stuff that belong to local residents, but I found two areas to be of special interest: the Mesomorph fossil collection and the courtroom. All of the fixtures were left when the court moved to Oakley, and the court is a 45-year-old time capsule. The annual Butterfield Trail Ride to benefit the museum began in May 1967. Early each summer, there is a 2-day event starting with a ride or walk of 10 to 12 miles, a 10 to 12 mile section of the trail, ending with a stay in Russell Springs for the night. We were about to go into Debbie Mather's quilt shop when we ran into Mel and Kathy Hirschberger. They owned the Logan House, the original hotel built there in 1887. We had driven by on our way into town, and I was thrilled to have the chance to see it. I asked if it was a B&B, and Mel laughed and replied, "It's a bed and bring your own breakfast." There are 9 guest rooms and the original part of the hotel, and the addition has a kitchen, dining, and family room. Kathy said friends have called it her dollhouse. Most of their clients are hunters or family reunions, but they do get the average traveler tired of change, and wanting to experience a different time and place. Debbie then took us through the Butterfield Trail Museum. It's closed for the season, but will reopen in May. She opened it especially for us so I could take pictures to share with you today. The old courthouse, complete with jail next door, makes a wonderful museum, and I vowed to come back and spend time in the library. One of the most interesting artifacts was a set of plywood wings that one enterprising gentleman from Winona had built in the 1930s. The folks in Russell Springs are working so hard to keep their rich and unique story alive. It is well worth the drive.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Lecompton. The name was splashed across newspapers throughout America and Europe. It was debated in the halls of Congress. Lecompton interprets its unique territorial history with 2 museums and other sites. Events throughout the year celebrate history and community.
Make plans to attend the 20th annual Bleeding Kansas Lecture Series at Constitution Hall each Sunday at 2 p.m. from January 31st to March 6th. Donations welcomed.
Spend the day in historic Lecompton, shopping, eating, savoring the rich history.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome back, everybody. And of course, while we're talking about making plans for spring, Kansas Sampler Festival is coming up. And Frank and I have been privileged to spend some time at previous sampler festivals. And could there be a more fun? There's just nothing more fun.
It really is. You see, if you really want to know about people in Kansas and products in Kansas, the Kansas Sampler Festival is absolutely fantastic. The last 2 years, it was in Wamego, and they had some of the biggest attendance they've ever had.
It was wonderful.
This year, it's going to be in Winfield, and so make plans to go to that.
Beautiful park down there in Winfield.
Yeah.
It's right in the heart of this town. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of the last 2, I believe.
Oh, it breaks my heart.
So, well, maybe somebody will pick up the
I hope
gauntlet
so.
and run
You
with
know,
it.
God bless her, Marci Penner, who there just ought to be a statue in the middle of the Capitol grounds to Marci, because she's done so much for rural Kansas and unifying communities and getting the word out. And but God bless her. You know, I'm sure somebody else has got to pick up the baton and keep going. But yeah, good things will come from all of the work that folks have done.
We're going to have a booth there, so come see us.
Yes, come see us.
We can't be at the Kansas Sampler without talking to the person that's responsible for the Kansas Sampler, and that's Marci Penner. Hi, Marci.
Hi there.
And there's a reason we're here too, stumping for Kansas, because she's probably Kansas' biggest fan.
Aw.
So tell us how this all got started.
Well, my dad and I had written a Kansas Weekend guidebook, and we had a book signing party on our farm near Inman, a small town, and we invited places in the book to come set up in one tent. And of course it rained and sleeted, and it was on our farm, and 1,000 people came, and we knew then that the public wanted to know what there is to see and do in Kansas.
Well, just as Marci said, the Kansas Sampler Festival was designed to bring communities and attractions from all over the state together to make it easy for the public to discover day trip possibilities. Whether you're looking for hiking trails, historic sites, natural landmarks, unique restaurants, off the beaten track eateries, architectural gems, hole-in-the-wall performing centers, artists at work, specialty shops, or have to be there Kansas events, this festival is for you. Since the festival was taken on the road in 1998, several towns have hosted the weekend event. Pratt hosted it in 1998 and 99, then Ottawa, Independence, Newton, Garden City, Concordia, Leavenworth, Liberal, and Wamego. Winfield will be the host city for 2016 and 17. the last 2 years the festival will be held. Marci Penner and her dedicated crew are owed a profound debt from Kansans across the state. She's shown us in a very grassroots Kansas way how much our state has to offer. We're grateful, Marci, for all you've done.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
I think it really extends your home out to the outdoors, and Mark always had kind of a vision of what he wanted to do with the yard, and so he envisioned this kind of outdoor area, the waterfall and things, but when Blueville came in, they had some really good ideas of how to place it and how to do different things that really enhanced the project. So.
Yeah, over the years we've grown to really enjoy our outdoor living space and developed a great working relationship with Blueville.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Sometimes there will be a person that they describe as a political maverick, someone who's independent and goes his own way. This poem is based on the true story of where the term maverick came from. Way down in South Texas, more than 100 years ago, there was a feller practicing law in San Antonio. He got title to a cow herd in payment of a debt somehow, which was a problem because he knew nothing about raising a cow. So he hired some local fellers to look after this herd, but they were pretty lazy, according to the word. They didn't keep the herd together, and many went astray, and they failed to brand the calves that were born along their way. It was a losing proposition, as that lawyer could tell, so he gave up on that herd and decided to sell. He sold the herd on terms they called range delivery, which meant the buyer had to catch those cattle running free. So the buyer went out and began to look around, claiming title to every unclaimed or orphaned calf that was found. What makes this story part of an interesting trick is that the name of the lawyer was Samuel Maverick. So when the buyer went to gather stock on his business's behalf, when he found a calf alone, he'd say, "That's a maverick calf." The term was used so much that maverick became a word meaning anyone who is not part of the mainstream of a herd. So that's the story, the true story, of how the term maverick came to be, from the plains of Texas, with longhorn cattle running free. Happy trails.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. And we're back again.
Wasn't that fun visiting the Sampler Festival? I can't wait. Cannot wait to have a booth and see everybody come through. Frank, I think that you and I should have those cutouts, where you can have your picture made and people could stick their face, into our faces instead. Wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, yeah, it sure would.
Or we could have the stand-up of you and me and people could have their pictures made with us, if we're not there. Yeah, we'll work on that. I think that would be neat.
All right. Oh my! Kansas is full of so much talent, past and present, and I'm sure future. And so you're going to be talking about another artist that people should know about.
Jerry Thomas, just a Kansas treasure, and I do not say that lightly. Nobody loves Kansas more than Jerry. Nobody has done more to preserve its history through art and tell its stories through art. And he started out doing wildlife things and moved on. He's worked with everybody. He's been commissioned to do the stuff for the governor's turkey hunt, and I'll tell you all about it in the segment. But he and his wife Leanne from Scott City, just incredible people, generous with their time and energy and promoting Kansas. And he's working very hard on the El Cuartalejo site down in near Scott City, and just we could not have a better ambassador, period. Just could not. Just awesome people.
Okay.
Awesome people.
So let's take a look.
Jerry Thomas is as much a product of the high plains of Kansas as Monument Rocks or the buffalo grass that stretches like buckskin over the landscape. A graduate of Scott Community High School, he studied business at Southwestern College in Winfield. At K-State, he pursued a master's in architecture, community planning, and development. In 1986, he became a full-time artist and formed a partnership with other businessmen to promote his work. Jerry was drawn at an early age to the excitement and nostalgia of the Wild West. The wildlife, the trails, and the history of the West all became an important inspiration for Jerry and his paintings. His attention to detail and countless hours of research have become a hallmark of his images, which are displayed in many private and corporate collections. Since Jerry began marketing his work, he has garnered numerous awards and much recognition. His credits include designing the Kansas Wildlife Habitat Award, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Corporate Stewardship Award, and being named the Governor's Turkey Hunt Artist of the Year, following his colleague and mentor, the late Wayne Willis. Other honors include being named Kansas Ducks Unlimited Sponsor Artist, National Ducks Unlimited Guest Artist, and the Golden Waterfowl Artist for Waterfowl USA. He designed the Kansas State Duck Stamp in 1992 and 96 and was named Kansas Wildlife Artist of the Year twice. He created the book covers for the 8-book series on Kansas Forts written by historian Leo Oliva. His painting The River for Kansas Wildscape Incorporated helped to create the Zach Hudak Memorial Wetlands at Milford Reservoir. Jerry's work is also featured in the recently published U.S. Infantry Association's Collector Edition book. Other works, Go Get 'Em Boys, that's my favorite, and Scouting the Trail, featuring Custer's famous 7th Cavalry Unit. Jerry commented that he was very humbled and honored to be selected as the chairman of the venture to preserve and develop and promote the one-of-a-kind national and state treasure, the El Cuartalejo ruins, the Pueblo ruins in historic Scott State Park. His gallery and collection is unique in so many ways, but most special because it reflects Jerry's love and passion for Kansas and its profound history.
And so it goes. Gosh, we're done again already, so I'm
Gosh,
Frank.
it's going to be March when we come
I
back.
know, yeah,
Can you
isn't it?
believe that?
Spring's coming.
Spring is almost here. I'm Deb. See you next time.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Georgia.